Good morning, everyone. Today, I want to talk about something we all experience: unexpected changes in life. We set goals, make plans, and move forward with confidence, only to find ourselves facing unexpected roadblocks. It is in these moments that we must understand the power of divine detours. Joel Osteen, a well-known inspirational speaker, teaches that life's detours are not random. They are part of a greater purpose. Many of us see delays, disappointments, and unexpected changes as setbacks, but in reality, they are redirections toward something better. When things don't go as planned, it's easy to feel frustrated. But what if I told you that the delay you're experiencing is actually working in your favor? Imagine you are driving to a destination and suddenly your GPS redirects you due to road construction. At first you may feel irritated, but later you realize that the detour saved you from an accident ahead. Life works in the same way. What seems like a setback is often a setup for something greater. One of the hardest things in life is waiting for success, a promotion, a relationship, or a breakthrough. We live in a fast-paced world where waiting feels like wasted time, but in reality, delays can be divine protection. The key is to trust that God's timing is always perfect. Joel Osteen often shares stories of people who were denied opportunities only to receive something far greater later. Sometimes the reason behind our struggles is that we are being prepared for something bigger than we originally imagined. It's natural to feel disappointed when doors close. You may have worked hard for a job only to be rejected. You may have invested time in a relationship only to see it fall apart. But instead of seeing these moments as failures, we should see them as divine redirections. A no today might mean a yes to something much greater tomorrow. The period of waiting is not wasted, it is a season of growth. When we trust the process, we develop resilience, patience, and faith. The challenges we face teach us to be stronger and wiser. Even when we don't understand why things happen the way they do, we must have faith that there is a purpose behind every delay. Sometimes what we want is not what's best for us. There are times when what we think is a failure turns out to be a blessing in disguise. Have you ever looked back at a moment in your life and realized that what seemed like a loss was actually a blessing? Maybe losing a job led you to a better opportunity. Maybe missing a flight saved you from danger. What we see as setbacks, God sees as setups for something better. Instead of resisting change, we should embrace it. Change is often uncomfortable, but it is necessary for growth. When things don't go as planned, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this teaching me?" Every detour brings a lesson, a new opportunity, and a step closer to our destiny. As we move forward in life, let us remember that divine detours are not roadblocks. They are pathways to something greater. The next time you face an unexpected change, trust that it is leading you to a better destination. Delays are not denials. They are part of the journey toward your purpose. So keep believing, keep trusting, and keep moving forward, because the best is yet to come. Life often takes unexpected turns, and when things don't go according to our plans, it can be frustrating. We set goals, make detailed roadmaps, and work hard, expecting everything to fall into place. But sometimes, despite our best efforts, we encounter roadblocks that force us to take a different route. These moments can feel like obstacles or failures, but in reality, they are what Joel Osteen refers to as divine detours. Unexpected changes that are part of a greater plan. Imagine driving to a destination with a carefully planned route, only to find out that the road ahead is blocked due to construction. At first, you feel frustrated because you must take an unfamiliar detour. It might feel longer, inconvenient, or unnecessary, but as you continue, you realize that the detour actually saved you from an accident or heavy traffic ahead. What initially seemed like a frustrating setback turned out to be a hidden blessing. This is exactly how life works. We may not always understand why certain things happen the way they do, but we must trust that every detour has a purpose. Sometimes the opportunities we chase are not meant for us, or the timing is not right. If everything always went according to our plans, we might settle for less than what we are truly meant to have. A closed door may be a sign that there is something better waiting for us. Joel Osteen often shares stories of people who experience major disappointments, only to later realize that those setbacks were stepping stones to something greater. A person may lose a job, thinking it's the worst thing that could happen, only to find a better opportunity that aligns more with their purpose. Someone may go through heartbreak, only to later meet the right person who truly values and supports them. In the moment, it's hard to see the bigger picture, but in hindsight, we often realize that what we thought was a mistake was actually a necessary redirection. One of the most important lessons about divine detours is that they are not random. They are orchestrated for our growth, protection, and ultimate success. If we could see the full picture of our lives, we would understand why certain things didn't work out the way we wanted. But because we only see a small part of the journey, we sometimes mistake detours for dead ends. Instead of resisting these changes, we should embrace them. When something doesn't go our way, instead of asking, why is this happening to me, we should ask, what is this teaching me? Every delay, every closed door, and every unexpected turn is an opportunity to grow, learn, and trust the process. The key is to believe that no matter how uncertain the path may seem, it is leading us to a destination far greater than we could have imagined. What looks like a setback today may be the very thing that propels us into our purpose tomorrow. Waiting is one of the most difficult things to do in life. We live in a world where everything is fast-paced, instant communication, quick deliveries, and immediate results. But when it comes to life's biggest moments, our careers, relationships, and dreams, things don't always happen as quickly as we would like. We pray, work hard, and hope for progress, but sometimes we find ourselves stuck in a season of waiting. It can be frustrating, and at times it may even feel like we are being ignored. However, what we fail to see in these moments is that delays are not denials. They are often divine pauses, strategically placed to prepare us for something greater. Joel Osteen teaches that when we feel like nothing is happening, it's not because we have been forgotten, but because something is happening behind the scenes. God is working things out in our favor, even when we don't see it. Just like a seed planted in the ground, growth is happening beneath the surface before it becomes visible. Many times we want things to happen on our timeline, but we must remember that divine timing is always better than our own. If we receive something too soon, we may not be ready for it. If a door opens before we are fully prepared, we may not be able to handle the opportunity properly. That's why waiting is not a waste of time. It is a season of preparation. There are countless examples of people who felt delayed, only to later realize that their waiting period was necessary. A young athlete who doesn't get picked for the team may feel like a failure, but that extra time may be what he needs to train harder and come back even stronger. A woman who is waiting for the right job opportunity may feel discouraged after being passed over for promotions, only to later receive an offer that is far better than she ever expected. Sometimes what seems like a delay is actually a divine setup for something bigger than what we originally had in mind. One of the hardest parts about trusting God's timing is that we don't always understand why things happen the way they do. We might see other people succeeding, getting promotions, or achieving their dreams while we remain in the same place. But comparison is dangerous because everyone's journey is different. What's meant for one person may not be meant for another. If we rush into something that isn't aligned with our purpose, we may end up struggling rather than thriving. The key is to remain patient and have faith, even when things don't seem to be going our way. Instead of becoming discouraged during delays, we should use this time to grow, learn, and prepare for what's ahead. Just because something isn't happening now doesn't mean it never will. The right opportunity, the right relationship, or the right breakthrough will come at the perfect time. We just need to trust that divine timing is always better than our own. Disappointment is something everyone experiences at some point in life. We put our hearts into something, invest our time and energy, and hope for a positive outcome. But then things don't go as planned. A dream job slips away, a relationship falls apart, a goal we worked so hard for doesn't materialize. In these moments, it's easy to feel discouraged, frustrated, and even question why things didn't work out. But what if disappointment isn't a sign of failure, but a necessary redirection? What if the things we lose are simply making room for something better? Joel Osteen teaches that setbacks are not meant to defeat us, they are meant to strengthen us. When we experience disappointment, it's natural to feel like we've hit a dead end, but in reality, we are often being guided toward a different, better path. Many times we become so attached to our own plans that we fail to see that God has something greater in store. A door closing doesn't mean the journey is over. It simply means there is another door waiting to be opened. One of the biggest challenges in dealing with disappointment is learning to shift our perspective. Instead of focusing on what went wrong, we should ask ourselves, what can I learn from this? Sometimes a rejection is not about us being unworthy, but about us being protected from something that isn't right for us. We might not understand it in the moment, but in time we often realize that what we thought was a loss was actually a blessing in disguise. Consider someone who applies for their dream job, goes through multiple rounds of interviews, and gets excited about the opportunity, only to receive a rejection email. It's painful and it's easy to feel like they weren't good enough. But what if months later, a better job with a higher salary and a healthier work environment becomes available? What seemed like a painful disappointment turned out to be necessary for them to receive something greater. Relationships work the same way. Many people experience heartbreak and believe they have lost their chance at love. They question why things didn't work out the way they hoped, but often relationships end because they are not meant for us. If we stay attached to something that isn't right, we may never make room for the right person to enter our lives. The key to overcoming disappointment is trusting that there is a bigger picture. We may not understand it right away, but if we keep moving forward, we will eventually see how everything fits together. Every closed door, every missed opportunity, and every unexpected change is leading us to something better. Instead of letting disappointment hold us back, we should use it as motivation to grow, to trust the process, and to believe that the best is yet to come. What feels like a setback today may be the very thing that prepares us for the success and happiness that lies ahead. Patience and faith are two of the most important qualities we need in life, yet they are also some of the most difficult to practice. When things don't happen as quickly as we want, it's easy to become frustrated, anxious, or even doubtful. We live in a world where instant gratification is expected, where we can get answers in seconds, food in minutes, and results almost immediately. But when it comes to the bigger things in life, our dreams, relationships, careers, and personal growth, things don't always happen on our timeline. That is why learning to develop patience and faith is essential. Joel Osteen often reminds us that just because we don't see immediate results doesn't mean that progress isn't being made. Many times the things we are praying and working for are not being denied. They are simply being delayed because we are still in a season of preparation. Just like a seed planted in the soil, growth happens beneath the surface before we can see it. If a farmer plants a crop and expects it to grow overnight, he will be disappointed. He understands that growth takes time and he trusts the process. In the same way, we need to trust that even when we don't see progress, things are happening in our favor behind the scenes. One of the most important lessons in faith is believing that even when things seem uncertain, there is a greater plan at work. It's easy to have faith when everything is going smoothly, but true faith is tested in times of waiting and uncertainty. When we don't get the promotion we were expecting, when our dreams seem out of reach, or when life doesn't seem to be moving forward, that is when we must trust the most. Instead of letting doubt take over, we must remind ourselves that delays are not denials. Many times what feels like a setback is actually a setup for something greater. Patience and faith also teach us resilience. When we are forced to wait for something, we learn to develop inner strength and endurance. If everything in life came easily, we wouldn't appreciate success when it finally arrived. Think about an athlete training for a championship. If he wins without facing any struggles or setbacks, the victory won't feel as meaningful. But if he has worked hard, pushed through challenges, and remained patient despite obstacles, the victory becomes even sweeter. In the same way, when we have to wait for something in life, we are being prepared to handle the blessing when it finally arrives. Instead of seeing waiting as wasted time, we should see it as a time of growth and preparation. Every challenge we face, every delay we encounter, and every moment of uncertainty is shaping us into the person we need to be for the future. If we learn to embrace patience and faith, we will not only navigate life's detours with grace, but we will also be ready to receive the blessings that are meant for us when the time is right. Sometimes the biggest blessings in life come disguised as disappointments. We all have moments when things don't go as planned, when a door closes, an opportunity is lost, or a situation takes an unexpected turn. In those moments, it's easy to feel frustrated or discouraged, believing that we have been set back. But what if the very thing that seems like a failure is actually leading us to something better? Many times, what we see as a loss is actually a hidden blessing, a way for us to be guided towards something we never would have chosen for ourselves. Joel Osteen often talks about how we must learn to see beyond the immediate circumstances and trust that everything is working out for our good. Life is full of moments when things don't make sense at first, but later we realize that what seemed like a setback was actually a setup for something greater. Sometimes we are so focused on what we want that we fail to recognize what we truly need. A closed door may feel painful, but in reality, it may be protecting us from something that wasn't right for us. Think about a person who applies for a dream job only to get rejected. In that moment, they may feel like they lost their chance, but what if they later receive an even better job that aligns more with their purpose and brings more fulfillment? If they had gotten the first job, they would have never been open to the better opportunity. The same applies to relationships, personal goals, and other areas of life. Sometimes the things we chase after are not meant for us, and we only realize it later when something much better comes along. Hidden blessings can also come in the form of challenges. Difficult situations may not feel like blessings when we are going through them, but they often teach us important lessons that shape our character. A person who faces financial struggles may learn how to manage money better and later find financial stability. Someone who goes through a painful breakup may become stronger and more self-aware, making them ready for the right person in the future. The lessons we learn in tough times prepare us for the blessings ahead. One of the keys to recognizing hidden blessings is having the right perspective. Instead of focusing on what went wrong, we should ask ourselves, what is this teaching me? How could this be working for my good? When we shift our mindset from frustration to faith, we open ourselves to greater possibility. We may not always understand why things happen the way they do, but if we trust that there is a bigger plan at work, we can find peace even in difficult moments. What may seem like a disappointment today may turn out to be one of the greatest blessings of our lives. If we stay open, trust the process, and keep moving forward, we will eventually see how everything is leading us to something even greater than we imagined. Unexpected changes are a natural part of life. No matter how much we plan, things don't always go the way we expect. We may set clear goals, work hard, and believe we are heading in the right direction, only to suddenly face an unforeseen change that shifts everything. In those moments, it's easy to feel frustrated, confused, or even lost. However, what may seem like an interruption or an obstacle is often a necessary shift that leads us to something better. The key is learning to embrace these changes instead of resisting them. Joel Osteen teaches that when unexpected changes happen, it is not a sign that we are off track. Rather, it is a sign that we are being redirected to something greater. Sometimes we become so comfortable where we are that we don't see the need for change. We might be stuck in a routine, in a job that no longer fulfills us, or in a situation that limits our potential. If everything remained the same, we might never step into the new opportunities waiting for us. That's why change, even when it's uncomfortable, is often a blessing in disguise. One of the biggest challenges with unexpected changes is the fear of the unknown. When life suddenly takes a different turn, we often wonder, what now? This uncertainty can make us anxious because we feel like we've lost control. But the truth is, we were never in full control to begin with. When a change happens that we didn't plan, it's an opportunity to trust that there is a greater plan at work, one that is beyond what we can see at the moment. Many successful people have stories of how unexpected changes shaped their lives in ways they never could have predicted. Someone might lose a job they loved only to later start their own business and find even greater success. A person may experience a failed relationship, feeling like they have lost everything, only to meet the right person who brings true happiness. The path we envision for ourselves is not always the best path. Sometimes we need a shift to get us where we are truly meant to be. Instead of fearing change, we should embrace it with an open mind and a positive attitude. When one door closes, it means another is about to open. The sooner we accept that change is a part of life, the easier it becomes to navigate unexpected detours. Rather than seeing them as roadblocks, we can start viewing them as stepping stones. Adapting to change requires trust, patience, and a willingness to grow. Even when we don't understand why something is happening, we must believe that it is leading us somewhere better. What seems like a disruption today may turn out to be the very thing that propels us into our destiny. Life's greatest opportunities often come when we least expect them, and if we remain open and willing to embrace change, we will find that every shift is bringing us closer to where we are meant to be. Life is full of unexpected detours, delays, disappointments, and changes, but each one serves a greater purpose. What may seem like a setback is often a setup for something better. The key is to trust the process, even when we don't understand it. Divine detours are not accidents. They are carefully designed redirections that lead us to where we are meant to be. When doors close, when plans don't work out, or when life takes a turn we didn't anticipate, we must remember that delays are not denials. Patience and faith help us navigate these moments, knowing that what is meant for us will come at the right time. Instead of resisting change, we should embrace it, understanding that every shift in our journey is leading us towards something greater. Challenges, setbacks, and disappointments do not define us. How we respond to them does. If we choose to see hidden blessings in every difficulty, we will find strength, wisdom, and unexpected opportunities. The path may not always be clear, but if we trust in divine timing, we will arrive at a destination far better than we ever imagined.